Hey everybody, I'm back with another video and just wanted to highlight a recent 14 card pickup. So these are the cards I've picked up in the last month. Starting here with the highlight of the lot, what I think is this 1963 Topps Powers Plus. I love that it's got both Hank Aaron and Ernie Banks on it. This was the last Topps Ernie Banks card that I needed for my collection, and now I have all of his playing cards from Topps during his 54 on to 1971. Still need his 55 Bowman, but as far as Topps goes, I've got all his cards that he was on. And I always love that card. It's got him and the great Hank Aaron on there, a near mint 7. Then on the right, a very nice 72 Topps Steve Carlton. It's his traded card, which is in the high numbered short print series. So needed that for the Steve Carlton collection. I've got a really nice Carlton collection, and I might highlight that here in the near future, so watch for that. But Carlton was a great pitcher. I think he had 329 wins and over 4,100 strikeouts. So probably one of the most dominant left-handed pitchers, definitely of his era, which he dominated the 70s and the 80s. And then on to a couple of 1979 Topps cards. The Paul Molitor on the left, which is very sensitive, very difficult to get in high grade. Near mint to mint, it's not that bad, but if you try to get that in a mint or higher, it's very costly. And then the 79 Thurman Munson, this is significant because this is his last card. He was unfortunately killed in a plane crash in 1979, and this is his last card. On to a couple Nolan Ryans for my Nolan Ryan collection. His 1980, this is a Burger King issue card. It's called the Pitch, Hit, and Run series. And you can see he's in his Houston Astros. His normal 1980 Topps card shows him pitching for the Angels. So this is actually the first card that has him in the Houston Astros uniform. And then on the right, this is the 81 Coca-Cola Nolan Ryan card. Very similar to the Topps card there, just has the Coca-Cola emblem on there. And it looks like they used the photos from the same photo shoot for this picture. You can see he's kind of got the same undershirt on, and the background is very similar. So more than likely took a couple headshots from different angles and used it on this card in 1980 and this one in 81. On to an Ozzie Smith card. This is his 82 Topps traded. The second most valuable card probably out of the 82 Topps traded, with the Cal Ripken obviously being the #1 card in that set. It's a box set, so these cards, I guess they can tend to grade fairly high, but 9 mint is a very good grade for this. This is Ozzie's first card in a St. Louis Cardinals uniform. I think he was traded for Gary Templeton, who was a fairly decent shortstop in his own right, although not a Hall of Famer like Ozzie Smith. Coming down to a little later in the 80s, this 1988 O-Pee-Chee Nolan Ryan and a mint 9. A nice grade on that. I got a couple of these Nolan Ryan cards fairly cheap. Definitely got them cheaper than it probably cost to grade them, including this 1989 Bowman, which is a Gem Mint 10. It's my first 89 Bowman Gem Mint 10. I pulled a couple of these cards back in the day when I was a kid collecting, and it seemed like the 89 Bowman, because they are just a little bit larger than all the other cards. It seems like most of my old Bowman cards are all beat up around the edges. Corners took a beating on this because they were a little bit larger than the tops. But as far as that being a Gem Mint 10, I mean, it's for what I paid for it. I mean, you couldn't even really get it graded. So I don't know why. I don't know what would motivate somebody to get that graded, even knowing that it could be a 10, when ultimately retail on that is under $10. So, but it's still a cool card, and I like Nolan Ryan, and it's good to have something like that in high grade. Another card, 90 score. Boy, I opened a lot of 90s score as well. Now this one's got some red edges, a little tougher, but still this card is not expensive in a mint 9. Definitely paid less for this than it cost to probably have it graded. I think the person probably assumed they were going to get a 10 on it, but even the 10 is probably not worth getting graded. But I'll just pick this stuff up just as a good example of cards for those years of Nolan Ryan. And I do have a good Nolan Ryan collection. If you haven't seen my video, I'll probably do an update to that sometime here in the future as well. And this 91 Micro, I like this Micro set. It shows his normal 91 card. I'll flip it over. And let's focus here. If you can see that, you'd probably need Elite Code 3's loop to see the stats on that, but they put them all on there. as tiny as it is, but that's kind of a cool little card, the 91 Topps Micro. And then here to a Hall of Famer, Chipper Jones. This is his Bowman rookie card and a mint 9. And then another great player from that era, Derek Jeter. This is probably his most affordable rookie card, this 93 Select. I guess Select was kind of a lower variation of Score. So if you wanted to get a Jeter rookie card, this one's the one to get. And at a near mint to mint 8, it's still very affordable. I think the person who probably sent this in to be graded probably were expecting a little higher grade. I probably wouldn't expect to see it come back a 10, but this looks kind of like a 9 maybe in my book. Very sharp card, and for a near mint to mint 8, not a bad looking card. It definitely looks a little nicer than that. And this is also my first card with the new PSA label, as you can see right there. And then lastly, going on to basketball, this 1968 Jack in the Box Elvin Hayes. I do have a growing Elvin Hayes collection. A great post player from the 70s and early 80s. And this is actually the first card he had. Topps didn't have a card of him until 1969. So this one's from 68, and which would make it a year earlier. So still looking to get his 69 and 70 Topps and a couple other ones, but picked that up for a good price, and happy to add it to the collection. Well, that's it, everybody. Once again, I appreciate your posts and comments below, and I'll talk to you again later.